guys, my name is Sub-Zero Exabyte and I am having a fantastic day. And I hope you guys are having a fantastic day as well, and if not yet, hope you are going to have a fantastic day. But I think I know a certain way how I can make your day fantastic. And that is what we are going to do right now, because we are going to do something very different. As you can see, we are in a horror house. It's a staircase house / horror house. So without talking too much, let's get right to it. People might say that this is the most dangerous staircase, so if the sound is really good as well, a life hack for that is if you are wearing headphones, which most of you are probably wearing, just have either your right or left ear uncovered with the headphone side, and you will be half in your room and half really good in the game. But that is just the fun part, because if there is a jump scare, then you are going to miss it, because really good jump scares have really good and creepy sounds, and that is just the cool effect from having a scary game with sound effects and jump scares. But anyways, since we are standing just right here, I am going to tell you the story about Staircase the Banger. And I hope you are ready, because if you are not, you need to get some popcorn or something, because this is going to be really intense for you. So here we go. The year was just at the beginning of the 21st century, so it is pretty relevant, but this story was hidden by the police and the government, so it would not concern people that live nearby the little town, and also not concern the people that even live somewhere there, because the people that would live there would probably have a smelly pants after you tell them this story happened in their town. So we are not going to name any towns, so we don't concern the people that might live there, even though it is a relevantly small town. But I do not want to get in any trouble or anything, so I am not going to take the risk of saying something about a town with angry people. So here we go. Staircase the Banger. You better be ready. I talked a bit off this minute, so you could have gotten your popcorn and lay back in your chair or in your bed or wherever you are. Staircase the hot darn anger. Guys, the stairs are going down and down. What is going on? I have no idea. The year once again was the beginning of the 21st century, and it was in a town that is going to be unnamed for reasons to not frighten the residents from that town. Staircase was a friendly geezer growing up, and pretty much all of the residents knew little Staircase. But as Staircase got older, he did not necessarily get any wiser, but he got a little bit fudged up in his head. On a night when Staircase was in his bedroom, his parents had a little fight. And this was not new for Staircase, because his parents had a bit of a poopy marriage, but they did not want to get divorced because they might harm Staircase's future with getting divorced. But they harmed his head just more with doing what they were doing. And what they were doing was not getting divorced, but almost every night that they were sitting at the television, they would begin to have a little word with each other. Nothing big, but just a disagreement. But then either his mother or his father would say something, and then all hell broke loose. And Staircase started to see it coming, and when he first saw it coming, he said something about it, and that he did not like the way that his parents got along with each other. I am not liking this field of you guys, and there is some kind of blood on the ground, but they just sent Staircase to his room, and Staircase would get sad in his room, because he wanted to see his parents happy just like any other parents from the kids that he went to school with. But something around 3 years later, the time was ripe, and it escalated so heavily with his parents that there was no way that they could live with the three of them anymore in that same house together. So Staircase was a bit sick in his head from all that was happening at school, and also his situation at home, and his parents were to blame that it got this far. But Staircase was on a normal day at school, and some of his friends were acting tough that they had a pistol at home, and Staircase thought, hot darn, a pistol, that is pretty darn cool, even though if I say so myself. But if I had that and just threatened the situation at home, then maybe my parents would get along a bit better and I would save their marriage. But that was not how it worked, and neither did Staircase get his hands on a gun, because with the age of 13 you cannot get your hands on a gun, or you have to know some pretty sketchy people. But Staircase did not know any sketchy people, so he was there once again standing alone for himself. And Staircase always thought that his mom had pretty cool spoons when she was cooking, and his uncle was a butcher, and he always thought that that was the coolest thing that ever existed. And he liked those spoons that butchers use for soup, the one that is called a butcher spoon. So he went to his uncle and he said that his mom needed a butcher spoon for cooking reasons. But what his Uncle Billy did not yet know that his mom was not even home, but she was sleeping at a hotel at the time. But Staircase told the story because he knew that his Uncle Billy would not know that his mom was there, because his parents would not really talk about their problems, but instead they would just keep it a secret to themselves. And Staircase knew as well. and he wanted it to end because he did not like the way that it was heading towards. But Staircase hid the spoon under his shirt, and he would tuck the spoon in between his leg and the part where the belt from pants are, and it was nice and clean on that place. But he got home, and his mom was not home, so there was no fight at home. But his dad had a bit too much to drink, and Staircase did not like that because he was acting strange for some reason. But Staircase did once again not really care, and he just headed to his bedroom and he put the spoon under his pillow just in case any burglars came in, because he was really afraid for burglars. So he went to bed, and in the morning somehow his mom made him breakfast and the two of them were acting happy. And that never happened. Well, not that Staircase could remember, but his mom and his dad were both just happy, and that was nice for a change. But Staircase did not yet know why they were happy. But just casually his mom was making little Staircase some cereal, and she just said it. She said that she and his dad were getting a divorce. Well, Staircase did not really know that it was going to be a pretty huge deal for him, but he did know that it was not a really good sign to get a divorce. But he did not really care. But his mom still needed a place to sleep, and his dad was still paying all of the rent by himself, and he would claim the bedroom that the two had shared all those years. So his mom had to sleep in the garage where there was an attic, and there was a nicely built guest room, and it was pretty much on the other side of where his father would sleep, so that was good because they then did not get into a fight. Well, that is at least what they thought, because that is just what happened. They got into a fight, and our poor Staircase went mad, and he got down from his bedroom holding a spoon, and he headed down really mad, and he headed down to his bathroom that was for some reason on the same floor that the living room and the kitchen and all of that was. But what he saw there was just unhuman, because his mother had a screwdriver in her hands and his father was laying on the floor with a lot of blood around him, and he assumed that his mom had killed him. But that was not the case. Well, at least his mom told him that another guy that she talked with had killed him, and he just left the scene the same minute that she and Staircase were standing there. And he knew that his mother would never even get the thought in her head to kill his father. So he knew that some other dude had done that, and he was sure that he would get revenge. He did not yet know how, but he was sure of that he would get revenge of that guy, because no one would just take something that close away from Staircase. Staircase was furious, but he could not do anything. And that is what made him even more furious, because he had no control over the situation. But the police showed up and they explained to the coppers what happened, because a murder does not really happen that often, so they had to explain what happened. But the sheriff of the town knew his mom, and his mom was a bit of a pretty woman, so the sheriff had a little eye on her and he knew her pretty well. So he believed that it was true what happened, and they said that they would do anything to catch the murderer, and they knew who the murdered was because it was a friend of his mother and his name was Timmy. And the police always knew that Timmy was not really 100% correct, because he was doing some shady stuff for the couple 2 years, but they knew that it could be Timmy that murdered someone because Timmy was always acting weird. He had this long posture and he had a really thick beard. He would always walk around in cargo shorts, and he would always wear the same white t-shirt. He had some old sneakers, and those sneakers looked like they just had been abused. They were old and dusty. They once were white, but if you saw them in person they were not white, but they weren't even gray anymore. It was just a really dark shade of gray. It was almost black, but that was all because of the dirt that would get on and under his shoe. But the police had a discretion of Timmy, and they informed the other nearby cities that if they saw a person with a beard and looked like that description, that they immediately called the sheriff, and the sheriff would personally get over there and undertake action. But they did not hear anything for a couple of weeks. But then the person that matched the description was found walking on the highway, and that he looked confused. It was 3 a.m. at night, so if a person was walking on a highway by the time, there was something not right, and it would also not be safe, because, well, cars maybe see you too late and then you are just chilling there in a car's windshield. But I don't think you would really feel good when chilling in a windshield of a car, or under a car, because on a highway people normally drive pretty darn fast. And if you get your body hit by a car with those speeds, then trust me that you are not going to survive that. Or if you are very lucky, then you might get away with some severe wounds on your entire body. But if Staircase heard that the sheriff would leave the station, then he would get onto his walkie-talkie enlisting with the police station and the sheriff what they had to say. And they said that a person that matched the description of a lost Timmy. And Staircase did not think twice about going to sleep and just wait it out if the sheriff would catch him. So called the nearest taxi with some stolen money that he had stashed up and would never buy anything with just for this moment. And he called a taxi that was near him so the taxi would be there in a minute. And the taxi arrived and Staircase said precisely where the taxi must go to and that the taxi would not have to think about hitting the brakes because he would pay extra if they got there in under 20 minutes. And they got there in about 15 minutes, but there was no sign yet of Timmy the walking highwayman. But he did not give up and he would also walk on the highway. But Staircase was smarter than Timmy because he would just walk next to the highway because he did not want to get run over. And it worked because he saw a passed out body next to the highway near a gas station. And Staircase ran over there and looked the disturbed Timmy right in his soul. And he could just tell that it was him that murdered his father with a screwdriver because his eyes looked afraid of a kid that was just 13 years old. But what Timmy did not yet know was that Staircase was carrying a spoon with him. And he was not afraid to use it because he was still furious about what happened 5 weeks ago. At that time, Timmy was still not on the same world that Staircase was on, because of the things that Timmy was using. But Staircase pushed him into the bushes that were near the gas station and he covered his mouth with his little hands. But the hands were big enough to cover his entire mouth. And because Timmy did not make up a fight, it was an easy peasy job for Staircase. And Staircase had stabbed Timmy to death. But he did not stop there because the only thing he saw was black in front of his eyes, and he stopped until he realized that Timmy was actually deaf and that he got his revenge. He was not concerned about anyone finding the body because it was a pretty well maybe there will be a real treasure here. It might attract more customers. Who knows, maybe I will place down a real treasure here and more people would be interested to come down here and check it out. Then I will have more loot thanks to those people and then I can build my empire. I could also maybe make a mine next to this pyramid so people that mine later come across this pyramid and then they will be stacked with cobblestone and maybe some diamonds and iron or coal, which is also just fine. Or some emeralds and things like that would be really nice. And then that is no longer theirs when they enter the pyramid. If you walk down the stairs of the pyramid, then your loot is automatically mine. I'm sorry about that, but you have to do what you do for your money, my friend. But finally, I placed down some torches and now all of you at home can also see what is down here. And here is what I meant by that. I really hate gravel. Like, can you see why I hate gravel? Well, it is pretty obvious. Well, I don't think a lot of people has done this in their life and I am one of them that did do it. So I am really happy. I wish I had some champagne here with me to celebrate this success. That would be really amazing. But do you know what else is really amazing? Well, I am looking at all these flying island things which kind of look like clouds, sick, and they are also white-ish. I mean, they are a bit more creamy than clouds, but I mean they could be like clouds. And I think I want some of these at my house as well. That would be really amazing just to have some of these in my house or around my house. Then my house would totally look like a planet if it would just have weird floating things around it that look like clouds. Then people will wonder what is going on inside my house, but and I would be like, oh, no big deal, I just defeated Harry and I decided to have some of these bad boys as a souvenir so I can think about my great achievement all the time. And then I would make a new friend, since then that person would have gotten coffee from me already and we would have a nice conversation. Then the next thing you know, someone comes and build a house next to me and we are going to have a nice little village and I would get him some clouds as well, and then we would be kings of some civilization and it would all be really amazing. But I don't think that is all going to happen. Like, don't all of you have that? Like, you think of the weirdest situations in your head which are totally never going to happen, but you decide in your head what you are going to do in such a situation? Well, if not, then I am just a weirdo, I guess, which would not be that cool. But let me know down below what your favorite color is and I will be sure to set that color as my Netflix account avatar. And then I would be really happy, since my favorite color is green, but I have a yellow thing but I want it to be green, but I am too lazy to change it. But that is a light, since it doesn't really matter that much what my Netflix account its color is, right? It is not that someone would come up to you and say, what is up dude, nice yellow Netflix account logo, and I would be like, yeah, totally, thanks. That was a setup to explain my thought that we have which are never going to happen. So by this time that you are hearing this, you have been tricked by the great trickster. So that is really nice for all of you. But yeah, this has been quite enough of the end and I think I am going to return to the normal world and just chill there for a bit, since this has been a pretty long episode, but it has been a really cool adventure at least. I think that this has been a really cool adventure since we have defeated a dragon and we have explored a lot of this new end or whatever it is, and we have fought a great 1 versus 1, but I came out on top, so that is also quite amazing when you defeat someone or something in a 1v1, and I did that today, so that is something that I am going to feel pretty great about. I don't really know what else we could do, but yeah, I had a lot of fun as I already mentioned. But have all of you already decided what your favorite color is? Well, put that color on a car. But I had fun and I hope you had fun watching, and I will catch all of you in the next video, guys. Goodbye.